for listening to me. I realize that we've come down this road a long ways. I realize that a lot of the decisions that were put together for this bypass were made a long time ago. And the last time that people such as myself were capable of actually making an objection about the environment or anything else really relevant to us other than what they're going to do about the grasses has been since 2002. Since 2002, there have been amazing changes in the world. You know, climate change was basically thought of vaguely, but it's become, well, with the weather changes and things, it's actually become much more of a reality. Many things have become a reality. The loss of property costs and values and jobs. I mean, just watching the county is working much harder now with a lot fewer people. There are so many changes that have come through, and none of these seem to make a difference. It's a big corporation. It's supposedly our corporation, Caltrans, but it really does not represent us. This whole bypass, even since then, what we know about their capabilities and their real, well, let's say what has practically happened and most of their mitigations has been very sad. And most of the time, it doesn't work. At this point, we're looking at localization in so many parts of the world as a way to keep us alive and keep us working. Mendocino County it's a wonderful place to live. It's not big on corporations' idea of a place to worry about. That is what you, our wonderful representatives, are here for. And yes, things have changed. Yes, you agreed and it made sense. It seemed to make sense for a long time, but things change. And I'm really hoping that our government is not such a dinosaur, even our local governments, that we can't see that changes need to happen, and that this bypass, which does not really deal with a traffic problem in our area, doesn't get built, that we actually find ways that'll work with the environment, keeping our wetlands, keeping our farmlands, keeping the reason that Mendocino is such an amazing place. This is so near and dear to all of us. Maybe not you, maybe not me, but our children and our children's children are going to be tremendously affected by this. And to just make this decision because we agreed to it earlier, what kind of people are we? Do we have integrity? Do we actually have, you know, the ability to say, hold it? Things have changed. Maybe I should rethink this and actually create a new decision. Please do not send that particular letter that you've created. At least stop and take more of this into consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Peggy Backup, followed by Cindy Morninglight, followed by Donnie Alexander. Peggy is not here any longer. Cindy's not here? Oh, I'm sorry. Cindy's followed by Donnie Alexander and followed by Charles Winslow.
Good afternoon. My name is Cindy Morninglight, and I have lived in Willits for almost 40 years. Two of the reasons I moved to the Willits area is because of the beautiful Little Lake Valley and because of the active climate of the folks that lived in Willits, which I still find to be true, at least the valley part now. I'm here today to read a letter that was drafted by Michael Foley, who is the president of of the Little Lake Range. This letter was written to Senator Noreen Evans, and it's on behalf of the Grange. Dear Senator Evans, I'm writing on behalf of the membership of Little Lake Range, one of the largest and most active civic organizations in Willits. At our last membership meeting, our membership voted overwhelmingly to send you and other political leaders the following message. Little Lake Grange endorses the efforts of Save Our Little Lake Valley and others to seek reconsideration of Caltrans Willits Bypass project. We commend our state senator, Noreen Evans, for raising fundamental questions about this costly project. We urge our elected officials, Caltrans, and the California Transportation Commission to meet with Senator Evans and concerned community members to craft a bypass that will truly serve our needs and avoid the economic and environmental damage that the current plan would bring. Our oldest and arguably most conservative member rose to speak in favor of this motion, recounting the long, sorry history of planning for a Willits bypass and the sensible and cost-effective alternative routes through town. Among the reasons that were most pervasive to our membership were the excessive cost of the project, currently predicted to cost over 4 times what similar projects throughout the state and the county average. Our members know that traffic north of Willits is remarkably low. You've heard this. 8,000 vehicles a day measured at a webcam just outside of town, down to 5,000 to 6,000 north of Laytonville, where the last of the local traffic dwindles abruptly. Those numbers do not justify an expensive freeway-style bypass. Second, we are concerned by the enormous toll the project would take on valley farmland, permanently withdrawing as much as 1/3 of the arable land in an attempt to mitigate for wetlands, which should not be compromised in the first place. The Grange has a long, honorable history in support of farmers and farming, and our Grange is committed to helping revive agriculture in our area. We cannot stand by while that revival is crippled by an extravagant project of this sort. Finally, the recent resort to force against peaceful demonstrators and citizen monitors at a time when serious questions remain about the legality of vegetation removal and the commencement of construction has outraged many people. The enormous cost of deploying CHP officers from all over the state in order to suppress dissent and further Caltrans' rush to begin this project concerns us deeply. We urge you to continue to stand up for rationality and a real dialogue about alternatives to the current plan. Sincerely, Michael Foley, Grange President. Thank you so much.
Here because of these guys. Yeah. And I'm a business owner for over 7 years in Willits. I'm a property owner. I actually live on Outlet Creek. And so this project greatly affects my life. My parents, I was raised in Cloverdale, in the area. My parents still live there. My father had a business in Cloverdale for 20 years. I know the devastations of a bypass to a town like Willits. I've seen it in my life. It's a breakfast community, Cloverdale, today. Nobody shops there. They live there, they commute. And I'm wondering if Willits is like that, where are they gonna commute to? To Sonoma County? Because there's not jobs in Ukiah for them. But what are we gonna do? Okay, and then the environment issues, I know people go on and on. I'm also an avid fisherman. Okay, I live on Outlet Creek. I'm not allowed to have a fishing license on Outlet Creek. But the Fish and Game and Army Corps of Engineers have given the biggest landfill permit to fill in the headwaters of Outlet Creek, which is the longest salmon and steelhead natural run without a hatchery or a dam on it left still intact in California. Okay? I know that the economy in Mendocino County and the environment go hand in hand. Okay? This is a jewel of Mendocino County, this valley. I came here because it's how beautiful. My family's from Montana. You know, I lived in the Bay Area, I lived in Cloverdale. It's Montana to me, Mendocino County. And we're gonna destroy it. For what? I don't understand. I commute my kids every morning to school. I don't even like to drive home past 10 o'clock because I get pulled over because I'm the only car on the road. Do you understand? It's eerie. Have you ever been stuck in a snowstorm? Because it's like that every night. If I drove home past 9:30 at night, every night. This morning I drove to town at 9 in the morning. I counted the cars I passed. Two. From Covelo Road to Willits, I passed 2 cars. 2 cars, okay? And this is 9 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday afternoon, okay? I mean, I just don't understand $300 million for half of a project without an extra exit to Highway 20. I don't understand why the elk that have re-inhabited this valley after over 100 years of the white settlers wiping them all out, they made it back on their own. You know, there's projects, federal projects, to have these elk put in different valleys. They made it to Willits Valley on their own. I watched them in November. My children were with me. Just past the train, driving home from school one day, just past where the railroad tracks meet, just north of Willits. We watched them come out of the bushes, and we stopped in the middle of 101 as they crossed the highway. Okay? Okay, and now I've seen them every morning. I counted 16 of them the other morning. I got it on video right where they were doing shoulder tappering. You know, right where they backed it up a few weeks ago, and they're widening the 101 so they can unload their heavy equipment, because that's where the highway exit's gonna be. Well, I have video right there where the Super 8 sign is. 16 elk, right there, where they're about to do this exit.
Thank you, Donnie.
Okay, would you like to say something to Maya? You said you wanted to. I'm here, this is gonna affect their future.
Thanks.
You know? I
Thanks,
just hope you guys
Donnie.
take us seriously, okay?
You do. Okay, the next speaker, Charles Winslow, followed by Jeff Wright, followed by Jim Hool.
My name is Charles Winslow, better known as Badger. I come from guarding the warbler. You need not answer my questions today, but you may very well need to in the future. Why are you allowing the Little Lake Valley to be raped in the pursuit of the tax dollars of the people? Will you allow this carrot of short-term dollars to lure you into committing this atrocity? Will not be a shame if it is said in the future that Willits was once a fine little town that died of short-term greed and apathy. Caltrans wants to bypass Willits and let it die on the vine. How much is the future of the community of Willits and the Little Lake Valley worth to you? How much is it worth to the children and the generations to come? This is happening as we speak here today. The time to stop is now. The so-called small segment of the community referred to in your letter is obviously much greater than you think or say. It is never too late to stop as what you're doing is wrong. The oaks are falling around the warbler now. This is an atrocity based on lies. There is a better way. I go to protect the warbler. I go to protect Willits. I go to protect what's left of the Little Lake Valley. Stop this fucking madness.
Jeff Wright, followed by Jim Hool, followed by David Drell.
Good afternoon, Jeff Wright, P.O. Box 15324 Bragg. I do want to point out that Mike, even though he didn't say any words, spoke volumes to all of us. Just by being here, Mike, thank you. The young man that was here with his dad. And Warbler, we heard her a few minutes ago. From the tree, by request, Mr. Pinchas, we set that up so that it could happen. And since you couldn't see her, I borrowed this from the Mendocino County Executive Office, and I'm going to return it to Carrie, and you can all pass this around and see her, see Warbler, and get an idea of what she looks like. She was tearfully describing what had just happened. Bless you, Warbler. It's really a heartbreak to see this kind of thing going on. You know, there's federal migratory bird acts that are being violated for what? Economic interests? For what? Nuclear pathways, as we heard earlier, the Hiroshima Highway, from delivering the fiasco from Fukushima to Humboldt Bay to go through our areas and our forests and further impact our transportation corridors when there's a wreck. When. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife and the federal Fish and Wildlife both have regulations that are being violated, and these corridors need to be open. There's a protest not only by the people that are concerned about these issues, but protest by a so-called local 3 of operating engineers who are not at all local to us. They're vocal, they ain't local. And what is their chant? Jobs, 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 which will be gone, gone, gone in a few years, if that. I consider this, quite frankly, when these laws are violated and nests are ripped out, I consider it to be bio-rape. I know it's a strong term, but it is what it is. And I've talked to a lot of people about this, and they said, yeah, that really does kind of say it. These creatures, the elk that were mentioned, that are just coming back, are going to get kicked out. I moved to this area from Southern California because I wanted to get away from the insanity of urbanity. And you know what? We're going to have people ride the skunk train. That this morning we're able to see that beautiful forest, and this afternoon you might have seen this morning a beautiful view in your rearview mirror. In your windshield going home this afternoon, that's gone. Warbler gave us the description of that. And it just breaks my heart to know that you'll ride the skunk train, and instead of seeing the forest, you'll see an LA freeway, which you moved here to get the hell away from. So I really find it disturbing. I really want people to know that this letter is just basically a lockstep with the other agencies that are involved. It has no procedural value whatsoever. I ask you all to quash it. The 7 generations before and after us have asked us to take care of the land in our home that remains and make it safe and beautiful. Some have left us more recently, but I'll leave you with this thought since the time is up here. What would Judy Berry do? What would she do? What is the legacy that was left by her, and what are we doing to it? So
Thank you,
please,
Jeff.
quash the letter. It's not even necessary. Thank you very
Jeff.
much.
Okay, Jim Hool, followed by David Drell and Tom Force. Jim, oh,
I didn't
I don't
see
see
Jim.
Jim. Okay, I think we lost Jim. David, followed by Tom Force, followed by Peter Good.
Thank you, Dan. I know all the members of the board, and you guys know me. And we've disagreed on a lot of issues, and some issues we've agreed on, but and today I wish I were sitting in your seat, because you have a unique opportunity here to show some political courage. And it's not too often that local government officials have that opportunity to take a good look at the path you've gone down, and to make a course correction, and to do it publicly, and to do it in front of your constituents. That's a pretty unique opportunity, and you have it here today. Most of you know that this is a stupid project. You've looked at it and you know it's stupid, and you feel like it's gone too far and to make a change. But I would say, based on what you've heard today, people are hungry to see change from their from their leaders. We have no leadership on the kind of changes we need to make to allow humanity to live on this planet. And you have this opportunity to make a statement about change, about a course correction, and I hope you take it.
Tom Force. Tom, is Tom still here? There's Tom. And Peter Good and David Beebe.
Hello, longtime taxpayer in Mendocino County. And I'm going to scrap all this because it's been said, but this is a leadership thing for you guys. This is a leadership tutorial. I know you guys got a million things on your plate, but Carrie Hamburg would advise you to lead, Dan. And Warbler is so far the biggest leader. Where's the Farm Bureau? You're a wonderful woman. Where's the Farm Bureau? You're supposed to be against this. What's up? So that's it. It's the L word, leadership. All good people here. A new soup, I don't know you. You are welcome to the inland. The inland. So maybe Johnny Pinches could get a bulldozer and go right up the railroad corridor there and make us a new road, so you don't even need this bypass. It's smarter. It's smarter than the stupid thing that's up now. It's just stupid and greedy. You've heard it from everybody. We the people are trying to, let you know that this is, ridiculous, and you guys got to live with this, and so do we. And that's going to be hard to do. This is sort of like a microcosm of the country. The people and the politicians. And it ain't working. And you guys have a chance to change that right now. Please.
Okay, Peter Good. Peter Good, David Beebe, Kelly Larson.
Hi, my name's Peter Good. I've been in Mendocino County since 1974. And when I got here in Mendocino County, Willits had a traffic problem, a small traffic problem in the summer. And so since 1974, I would ask the Board of Supervisors and everyone to consider who's been in charge of 101 and 20. Who has had the most power to make decisions about the traffic that is still almost 40 years later bad? Who has made those decisions? Caltrans has been the major player in it. Our locally, the Mendocino Council of Governments have been a major player in it. Neither of these agencies have solved a local traffic problem. They haven't even fixed Highway 20 that connects Ukiah, the largest city in the county seat, to Willits, the third largest city, and Fort Bragg, the second largest city. It's been 39 years and they can't get a reasonable 101/20 bypass. This is what we have gotten from the professionals after 39 years. So when I'm listening here, I am very inspired to hear the common people, the non-professionals, come up with wisdom, smart ideas, passion, and the professionals have failed us. The proof is in the pudding. It's 39 years and you still have a traffic problem. You put up a gas station in, we elected our county officials and our state representatives so that they could hire the transportation people to get a reasonable way through Willits. It's been 39 years and they haven't done it, and now they come up with a very unsafe bypass, a very, very unsafe bypass, 2 lanes. And it's going to destroy the valley. And it's going to be, people are going to remember this day. They will remember every single person of the 5 people that, and how they voted. And they'll remember it for a long time because it's going to be a big, ugly mess. You should listen to the wisdom of the common people and forget about the professionals. They had 39 years and they failed. You know, I go down to visit my sister. You say, well, I'm all against Caltrans. Well, they did a good job on Highway 5. But guess what? At Rye Canyon Road down in Santa Clarita, California, 10 years ago, they built an overpass. And everybody in that valley will go to that and say, okay, I'm not going to go to that anymore because you're going to get in an accident or you're going to get lost because it's poorly designed. So Caltrans makes mistakes all the time. This is a mistake. Stand up for us, the people.
Thank you, Peter. David Beebe, followed by Kelly Larson, followed by Lucy Neely.
My name is Dave Beebe. I live on Sherwood Road. I've been there for about 35 years. I'm going to talk about the 40-acre northern interchange. You all have pictures he's handing out to you right now of the northern interchange of the Willits Bypass project. It covers about 40 acres of wetlands. To get an idea how big this is, if you superimpose this over the town of Willits, it would cover everything from Highway 20 to the high school, from Main Street to the railroad tracks. That's all going to get covered, 40 acres. This is a 3-way intersection of 2-lane roads, basically the same as Sherwood Road intersection, only done in mega enormous, Caltrans style, 40 acres. Maybe that doesn't impress you because the wetlands look like a big empty field to you, but it's not. For one, it's a huge part of the groundwater system. This is one of the functions of wetlands, to recharge groundwater by letting the water percolate through it. To build this 40-acre interchange, 55,000 wick drains would be installed. These are like straws that draw the water out until the earth collapses. It speeds up the settling process. The earth would would be compacted and then built up at one end as high as 30 feet to go over the railroad. It has to be so high over the railroad because new standards are that there has to be room for 2 railroad cars stacked on top of each other. Never mind that all the tunnels in both directions are standard at 15 feet. If you think the railroad is ever going to be rebuilt, I hope you don't expect the tunnels to be rebuilt at 30 feet. Filling 40 acres of wetlands just for the northern interchange may not concern you, but it certainly concerns the state. Both the federal government and the state government have a policy of no net loss of wetlands. This is why mitigation for the project takes up 2,000 acres of farmland. Almost all the mitigation lands, like the field where the interchange is planned, are already wetlands. In order to get enough credit, the ratio of impacted to enhanced land has to be really large. This is the reason the Farm Bureau argues strenuously in their legal arguments that the current design is not the least environmentally damaging practical alternative. I urge you to stand up behind the ranchers, stand with the Farm Bureau, and question the bypass currently designed. There is a way for it to have less impact. It doesn't have to go over the railroad. It can have a graded railroad crossing at Highway 101 right now. There are many types of intersections that would take up a fraction of the space. It is not too late to call for modifications to have less environmental impact. No new EIR is needed when the impacts are less. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Kelly Larson, followed by Lucy Neely, followed by Ann Reniker.
Hello, my name is Kelly Larson, and I'm a local contractor. I've lived in Mendocino County for 17 years doing contracting here. I want to thank the Board of Supervisors for this forum very much. I speak for the many contractors who can't take the time off on a weekday to come down here, and a lot of other folks. Everyone I've spoken to, is frustrated by the lack of Caltrans response to the Willits traffic problem. This is folks on all sides. Even the fellow who has his sign out on the road across the street from the Warbler site, he was just frustrated. And that's what he told me. He says, I'm not against these folks doing protesting. He said, I'm just frustrated that nothing's happened. So that's our opposition there. Yeah. I believe that plenty of evidence that Caltrans has purposefully failed to respond in order to get support for what they want, regardless of what the community wants. The fact is that Caltrans hasn't even restriped the road in front of the Safeway to make it safe for people to go north. It's a very inexpensive, simple step. Just makes no sense at all, except that if Caltrans wants to put through something like they have. The past support that's been talked about, none of that past support was for 2 lanes with no off-ramp for Highway 20. The Caltrans bypass is very expensive, ineffective, and unnecessarily destructive. It benefits only a few, doesn't solve the problem, and it has divided this community. We can't afford to make this mistake bypass in tax dollars or in decisiveness. As a local contractor, I want to offer local jobs to locals doing positive work that solves the problem, and this project does none of those things. The opposition is a large group, and it is growing, and you know that a very small percentage can afford to show up like this. So there's a whole bunch more. These people represent a whole bunch of more people that can't sit here all day long and wait for their speak. All right? So I want to put here a map of the current plan here.